Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that is considered quite serious, pretty sad, but often doesn't. Often not necessary. It's about dreams in which, well, we die or we see a loved one who dies. The good news is that it's very rare for death in dreams to represent actual death. In fact, death in dreams often represents the end of something, the end of an era. And so when something ends, it means a new beginning. When we see death in our dreams, the best thing to do is not to worry. When we feel sad seeing someone dying in our dreams, it's simply because the mind, which is anxious about death, becomes more active at that moment in the dream and then triggers anxieties. If the mind isn't active in the dream, well, we don't feel afraid when we dream about death, especially if we know that, in fact, it's a good dream that means there will be changes in your life, a fresh start, and it's often a positive change. Now, it does still happen sometimes that we really dream about death. Dreams that truly foretell death aren't necessarily sad dreams. Often they're peaceful. They can even be funny, and most of the time, they're very bright. They can be similar to out-of-body experiences during an accident or during a surgical operation, when people talk about what happens when they've been considered clinically dead, and then they come back to life. The main theme of these dreams is light. An American pastor did research on the dreams of people who are just about to die. And he talks about the same thing, tunnels of light, the arrival of deceased people we once knew, who come to so very warmly welcome us into the other world, which is also partly the world of dreams. I talk about this person in my book, The Meaning of Dreams, and also from other sources as well. Well, I'm going to tell you about an experience that had a big impact on me, which I had when I was in my 20s. It was with a person, a very elderly woman whom I was lucky enough to meet. This woman had lived a very full life. She had been very beautiful. She had been an actress in Marcel Pagnol's films. When I met her, she lived near me in the 12th arrondissement in Paris. And one day, she invited me to her place and showed me the album of her life, all her photos, from her acting days, her rich life. And the thing that struck me the most was when she explained to me that she was going to leave, because in her dreams she would see her crucifix in her room, lighting up, and so she knew that Jesus was calling her. She was very devout, and I looked at her like that. I was really very surprised, and well, some time later, she passed away, but truly at peace. So that's an example of a beautiful experience of departing to the other world in a serene way. Of course, people who are believers think that there is something after life. So they tend to leave in a less stressed way, let's say, much more peacefully. And at that moment, they will have very bright, very positive dreams. Now, you actually don't need to be religious in the traditional sense. You can also have experiences with your double. And when you have experiences with the double or dream body, we know that life continues after physical death, and that the double will make sure to let us know when it's time to catch the train, to simply leave for good. Otherwise, I have another story that's really very touching, and it's about the announcement of the death of a pet. I'll tell you about it right now. I had this experience in New York where I was sharing an apartment with another woman writer who had a dog who was very special. His name was Henry Miller, and besides being really into literature, he had the ability to enter dreams. So he was a dog who was really very present, very active in the world of dreams. And of course, during my stay there, he would accompany me in my dreams. When I just left New York and returned to France after quite a long stay there, where I was also doing research on the dream world Some time later, I had a dream in which I saw Henry Miller, the dog, from my roommate, who said to me, "I'm here to tell you that I'm going to leave my body soon because it's really, really uncomfortable. But don't worry," and he told me in English, "It's not a dot, not a dot, not a the." And the dream ended like that. In the morning, I thought to myself, why did the dog tell me it's not a? And he was really funny in the dream. He was telling me he was going to leave, but he was laughing and saying, "It's not a da." So, it's not a dot. What does that mean? It's not a period, not an endpoint. The period that we put at the end of words, sentences, to say that it's the end. Well, the dog was telling me, it's not a. So I knew he was going to leave, but that. The communication with him would continue in the dream. And so it was a really beautiful experience because sometime later he told me, "That's it. Now I'm dead." I was put down at a vet's office. And well, they made sausages out of my body. I found this dream really strange in the morning. He told me they made links with his own body. Weird. Not long after, I learned from an email from my roommate, who never saw her dog in dreams since. She had no contact with her double, nor with the dream world. So she tells me that her dog has died. Well, the dreams with the dog, the dream communications lasted for a while. Then at one point I saw him as a seed that was inside a kind of transparent container. So my way, probably, of seeing the belly of a female dog. And this little seed was telling me, "Love you, love you." It was really a very beautiful dream. Then there was the dream in which the dog told me, "That's it. I've been born again. This time I'll be a big dog again. My owner is Chinese, and he is kindly loves me, and I'm going to have an interesting life. And now I'm saying goodbye to you." So at the end of, after that dream, I didn't have any more dream contacts with the dog. I understood much later why Henry told me that his body had been turned into sausages. In the United States, there is a meat market for euthanized pets specifically, and so their bodies are turned into food that is served to other animals. And there you have it. That was a piece of information that shows that, in fact, we can get information from people, from animals who are deceased, and information that we can verify as real in our waking life. I hope you found this video interesting, and I'll see you very soon. And above all, don't be afraid of death, because when you really pay attention to your dreams, you realize that death doesn't exist. Goodbye, see you soon.